Oregon. Let's look at the operator selection screen as we have eXcellence Gaming starting on attack and FlipSid starting on defense.
Ash, Blackbeard, Habana, Capital, and Thatcher coming out for eXcellence. 3 of the 5 top 5 operators represented by them. Jaeger, Mira, Castle, Echo, and Smoke. I think that's 4, possibly 3 of the 5 represented by the defensive team as well. So, yeah, no, that'll be 3 on both squads. Capital is going to be brought on by eXcellence, and that's going to be very specifically to disable those mirror windows, which will be placed in the small closet to disable, well, not disable, to discourage, let's say, a push in through the main lobby, straight down the stairs and the drop down. It's pretty much the only direct way to stop that defuse plant coming down on top of the dryer. Meanwhile, the castle coming out from FlipSid Tactics is going to be utilized, as you can see here, as he's opening up those rotationals. He's going to be utilized to kind of cut off lines of sight upstairs to allow for his roamers to roam a little bit more efficiently and have their own take on the top floor, which means we are likely to see a west side roam. However, this looks like it's going to be a tower construction take coming out from eXcellence to start.
Now, a silencer coming out on Fox's R4C, which isn't necessarily the attachment we typically see.
When it really comes down to it, attachments on weapons are, hey, if bullets protrude from the barrel of the gun and can hit the enemy's head, it's all well and good as long as that's happening.
Now we are going to see, I was going to say possible engagement between Chala and Geo, but I'm not quite sure where is that Jaeger. Oh, Jaeger's actually on the top floor here by the kids' dorms.
Right, and here you can see eXcellence starting to establish control over the tower before they progress their way in through the construction hallway. This is going to give them a little bit more vertical control on the top, or on the first floor. They also, it looks like they want to take control of a meeting hall. That'll mean that when they're making their push in through the bottom hallway, they don't have to worry too much about the pressure from the mirror window, as they can disable it from above with flashbangs and the like.
Now we're going to see Fox push back in from construction site into the blue hall. Just going to double check that real quick as Mint finds himself huddled into the master bedroom with some bullets coming in from attic.
Yeah, and you can see there that castle roam has been caught a little bit off guard. He wasn't prepared for a direct tower take to be coming out here so early on. This isn't usually the attack you see implemented first by the attacking squad. You can also see there the Habana has opened up that hallway mirror window, which means eXcellence have a lot of options here progressing into this attack. They also still have plenty of time. They have the advantage in a lot of ways here. FlipSid are going to have to struggle to bring this round back. It may not look like it given the man count is even, but it is going in the favor of eXcellence right now.
Yep, and they are going to use that last Habana charge to open up more of the box. Pojerman still tucked behind the shelving unit as Gurmy pops a couple bullets in through box towards the B site. I believe that was the first of 2 fire Capital errors from a man. Looks like he might have shot that from above. Yes, he's still above, looking on forward down.
You saw that Echo drone placement. That's going to be extremely useful in going into the rest of this round.
Flashbang comes on in. Fox rushes forward. He tags one, but Adams there to get the trade as Gurmy finishes off hot and cold. It's now a 3-on-4, 40 seconds left to go. Adams going to go for a peek here right up against Gurmy, but it looks like Gurmy comes out on top as my man finishes him off. Chala, however, is able to get the trade onto Geo. From above, looks like my man's feet are going to be tapped. He's got about 5 health left as Chala is going to sit himself down with about the same amount. Mint coming down the back stairs. Diffuser has been planted. Gurmy now looking towards the back, but it looks like Mint's feet might be tapped. He's going to take 1 bullet to knock Gurmy down. Can he get it in time? And it looks like he will not. He's going to get injured down, but not out at the moment. Chala, 1-on-3 at the moment, going up against my man, Brian and Gurmy. They're all sitting on top of the B site on the bomb. As Gurmy's watching the back stairs, my man's got to hold on to the middle quarter, and he goes for the shots, and it looks like Brian comes out on top of that fight. We are going to see eXcellence secure round number 1, 1-0 right now.
So, eXcellence, they established all the control that they really needed moving into that attack, and then a great use of flashbangs and Capital firebolts to disable rotations, as well as simply nullify holds as they push into the side, get that aggressive play, get the diffuser plant. That coupled with some great lane holding coming out from their Blackbeard, as well as just every one of the players in general, pretty much resulted in their win there. I mean, all it really came down to was FlipSid Tactics forfeited a lot of control on the north side of the bottom floor, as well as were caught a little bit off guard with their roam game, and thus the FlipSid roam was pretty much useless.
And we talk about this almost every time Oregon comes up, is when you have a team, a defensive squad, that puts a lot of men up top, puts a lot of roaming in place, your best bet is to go into red tower. You can flush them out of red tower quite easily, and there's not many flank points other than going through attic or meeting hall.
Right, and that was exactly what we saw eXcellence do. They very efficiently took control of tower, established lines of sight down into the main hallway, the north to south hallway, as you can see here to the left of my man there, and then pretty much just pushed into the site. I mean, when you have that rotation cut off, they also even covered the attic and the meeting hall as well. When you have all those rotations cut off, and you're just basically have to deal with one player playing inside of the B-bomb, I mean, there's not really, that's not very difficult to do. You got an Ash with flashbangs, he's just going to want to walk in on that.
Now, there is a little bit of late reinforcement going inside of box, which if FlipSid would have pushed that a little bit sooner, they might have caught him off guard. However, my man is going to be droned out here inside of the tower stairs. And it looks as though he might be seeing a pre-fire. No, Mint's going to hit that door open, and my man...
Ooh, he might be droned out here. If my man gets droned out, he will get pre-fired.
There is the pre-fire happening. My man just ducks right underneath, misses the target, and then decides to rotate all the way back downstairs. But again, it's continually droned. Adam's already here. My man going to go for the pre-fire, but misses the shot. Adam takes the correct side of the doorway to get the upper hand on my man.
That's a good start for FlipSid moving into this round. 2 minutes left to go. That's plenty of time for them to establish their attack here. And meanwhile, eXcellence, they don't have a lot of control. It's seeming like a very similar situation to what we were seeing last round, but on the flip side.
I want to say the biggest difference. Oh, looks like Gio's going to tag one kill there onto Hot and Cold. Adam, I don't think knows that Fox moved in forward. He's going to go for the C4 kill, but cannot get the kill. Adam, with a click of the wrist or flick of the wrist there, will take him down. He's now going to sweep on in, almost gets a second kill there, but misses the target. Shala will pick up Gio. I was going to say the very distinct difference between how the two teams are holding it is we had the Valkyrie inside of Meeting Hall.
Right.
There was no hold from FlipSid in Meeting Hall.
Right, yeah. They were trying to establish pressure over Meeting Hall. However, they were a little bit delayed. But now, a 2 versus 4, eXcellence Gaming have been aggressed on, and we're not ready to receive it. This is somewhat surprising considering how exactly the attack happened last round. It's pretty much the same. FlipSid are repeating the same exact attack strategy, and eXcellence were unable to reciprocate.
Yep, and so now we do have some flashbangs going on in. That's Adam rushing in after one flashbang. He takes one down, but it's traded back by Brian's SMG-11. Last minute alive is going to be inside of the supply room. Chala trying to move on forward. This is the typical spot you will find the last defender in, either this or the closet. You're going to see a pre-fire happen as Mint or Pojo come pushing around, but the gas grenade is going to force them back. Pojo, oh, the little wall bang there. He's going to tag down Mint. A 2-on-1 with 35 seconds to go. There's still plenty of time. But yes, he will have time to bring this back. No more gas grenades at his disposal, though. Pojo Man comes swinging on by. He's going to tag on one. Shala's going to swing around and finish him off with a bearing 9, and we're going to see FlipSid secure round number 2.
A good trade there coming out from Chala. That's some fantastic teamwork between the Blackbeard and Chala, knowing that, all right, listen, I'm going to peek. I'm a wide peek him. I'm playing Blackbeard. I should have the advantage, but in the case that he does win that engagement using his SMG-11, which he did do, just trade me back. Just trade me back, because he's not going to have enough bullets to kill both of us.
Now, I agree with you 100% on there. The only thing that I would think might be a little different is with the SMG-11, take the closer angle first, so let the Hibana go, because if he has to use one weapon and pull out a shotgun, I'd hate for him to pull out that shotgun in time and then engage that close range.
Yeah, but fantastic. Luckily, FlipSid, with some really good timing and teamwork there, prevented the shotgun switch. And now we are going to be seeing FlipSid moving back onto the basement. Both of these teams have implemented the same exact attack strategy. Take control of that north tower, progress your way. Don't even need to take control of Meeting Hall. That's the interesting thing, is they haven't really forced out Meeting Hall. They've killed any defenders who have held in Meeting Hall, both of these teams, but they don't establish control over Meeting Hall. They don't really focus on those drop downs. It seems to just mostly just be, hey, take control of north stairs, move your way, or sorry, north tower, north stairs, and then move your way in through the construction hallway and push into the site. That's pretty much the whole attack strat. But yeah, we're seeing FlipSid move back down into the basement, and that's really interesting to me that they're moving into this exact bomb site again, despite the fact that it was so clearly an eXcellence victory the first round on attack. Are they going to be able to have a counter strategy here in place? Are they going to be ready to receive this eXcellence attack this time? Or is it just going to be a repeat of what we saw round number 1?
I think looking at the board right now, they have like you said, they've chosen the same bomb site, but they've adjusted because all 5 are on site now, which means that they're now ready to rotate around, go for a back hold if they need to from that north site, or they can focus their way towards the front. Adam's going to be at the front. We already see him here with that shotgun in hand. They've moved 1 mirror window to face the south, 1 mirror window to face the north.
Yeah, I mean, this is some good setup from FlipSid, but also, equally, we are seeing the same eXcellence attack start to be undertaken as they progress their way in through construction hallway. We are going to see the pre-fires coming out from FlipSid, but they will not hit any targets. And stairs control has already been established by eXcellence. Now, this attack is much slower than we were seeing from FlipSid. Last time, FlipSid, I believe they had control over tower, and they were already pushing their way in through construction hallway at the, I think it was the 2-minute 30 mark. It was very aggressive play from them. However, this is still a very efficient take, as eXcellence still have half of a round to conduct their attack.
Now that mirror window has been opened up, as you see just now. Hot and Cold's going to hold the close angle on the box. Now, fortunately, that wall inside the box has not been opened up, but it is soft. So if Fox wanted to, he could use one of those breaching charges. However, he's going to wait for the rest of his team to get down a little bit closer before he goes and opens up that line of sight. Now, a lot of time has been used up. A 5-on-5 still, with 2 members from the attacking squad going to be topside, as 3 are working their way down. Looks like Fox is moving him forward. The ADS is going to stop one. Another flashbang stops the other. It looks like Brian moves in forward from the Hibana hole. We're going to see the Yokai disorient Fox just a little bit here as Brian goes in for the push. My man's going to drone out and tell Brian just where to make that push in. Now that's another Hibana destruction. That's going to be good shots on him with 45 seconds to go. They've disoriented 3 of the enemies here. It looks like my man finally goes down. He's not been killed off just yet, but there's the Yokai finally getting destroyed. Adam's going to move back in time. Geo takes down Chala, but a trade comes instantly from Pojo Man as Hot and Cold takes the lead count in favor of FlipSid downing Fox. It's a 4-on-3 at the moment. 25 seconds to go. C4 is going to get tossed out. Now Mint is tucked inside of that corner. You've got Brian able to crawl on out of the box here. You've got Brian and Gurmy forcing their way in towards the back as we have Thatcher towards the top side. That's Geo. Now we do have Gurmy working his way into the box. You saw the flashbang come on out. Mint still tucked away in the corner. Gurmy knows he's there, but he's going to take his eyes off it for a minute. Adam comes to the shotgun under Geo. The trade comes down onto Pojo, and he gets a double kill from Gurmy. 2-on-2. Deagle comes out, and that's going to be 3 kills for Gurmy. He will get down to the process in a 1-on-1 now. He's got Brian against Adam. Looks like it's going to be a Bearing 9 versus an SMG 11 as he goes for the down team, and he will get picked off. And Brian comes out on top, winning round 3 for eXcellence Gaming.
Wow, what a fantastic round there, and it did really just come down to a slugfest. Each team trading back and forth and back and forth. It looked like it was going in the favor of FlipSid Tactics, as we saw eXcellence Gaming on their attack, slowly inching their way into the site and trying to challenge those hard angles. And if there's one thing you don't do to FlipSid Tactics, it's challenge the hard angles, go for those angle fights. That is one thing that FlipSid has always been extremely proficient at. However, when we see a Blackbeard do it, get that double kill coming from the hard 90-degree angle, he is going to have such an advantage with that shield in front of his face, as well as just being in the surprise position. He got some great play from him, Gurmy Wormy, to go ahead and put his team in a great spot to win that round.
I have to think what would have been the outcome had he not gone for the downed player. If it would have been just a one-on-one, not worried about going and finishing off that kill. But
it was unfortunate to see the smoke go for the down player. It is what it is, though, and they did, because of that, lose their defense. Now, eXcellence going into their upstairs defense, not trying to force out that basement any more than they already have with their first round loss. Both of these teams have thus far been successful exclusively on attack. We're going to see eXcellence setting up in a very interesting way. Pretty much, I say interesting. Pretty much the same that we're used to seeing. There's the mirror windows, the very typical mirror window coming down here in the kitchen. There's a mirror window upstairs looking towards the main window over there to the west. And there's not a whole lot of surprises going on. There's also one player playing inside of the tower, and then another reinforcing the tower attic wall.
That was a good Valkyrie camera, I think, but I think it might have also been spotted as it was thrown out, so it will get destroyed instantaneously.
Now, west clear to start things off here, coming out from FlipSid. They're trying to just establish as much control as they possibly can over small towers, so they know they don't need to worry about that flank coming down into their backs when they push their way onto the west window of the A bomb site. Opening up this mirror window is going to force my man to play a little bit more passively all the way back into the closet of kitchen. I think there is also a rotational into the meeting hall, and yeah, he's already rotated fully out. He doesn't want to commit to that.
He's like, I'm out. Later.
Peace be with you.
Later, nerds.
As soon as he loses that mural window, he doesn't have the advantage he needs to, well, be able to challenge 3 different attackers.
It seems like you'd want a battery on that, though. I don't know if there was, and maybe they somehow got rid of it. But if that window is the only thing keeping you in kitchen, you'd want to make sure you keep yourself in kitchen.
I mean, it's obvious. It's possible that Fox A just didn't have the time to get the battery down, and unfortunately because of that, we saw a very simple, hey, let's shoot a Cabana on it, and end of story, take for the whole kitchen take. Now that's a lot of control that has been forfeited to FlipSid. As you can see here, that Ash charge is going to establish or give line of sight onto the top of White Stairs, and having control over the top of White Stairs is very big for the attackers. It means they are free to push up the White Stairs themselves, which then allows them to gain line of sight onto kids without directly challenging from the west window.
Now, Hot and Cold did finish droning out my man inside of the meeting hall. He pushed him all the way back into Red Tower, but I don't know if they spotted out Geo in the bottom of the main stairs. Now, as Hot and Cold looks away from the attic drop, or I'm sorry, that was the kitchen drop, looks like Fox will peek around to take him out.
Yeah, and that's a bad start for FlipSid. However, while they have established control, they still are kind of looking for that right push, or at least a couple picks before they start the push into the site, and FlipSid can't seem to find it, as eXcellence are kiting very efficiently around them. And now only 30 seconds left to go. They've got to make a force push here into the west window.
And they are going to try to, like you said, force push their way into this big window. You see the fires coming out, the flashbangs as well. Mint's going to try to go on up the back white stairs. He's very cautious of someone being inside of the middle dorms. Hard right is going to be that smoke. He's going to toss out 1 gas grenade. And it looks like he will be taking out. That's also Diffuser following a 3-on-4. Little rush coming in here to the back of the stairs by Geo. Up underneath is going to be Podrome, and he gets taken out there by my man. However, there's one more coming on up. Looks like Adam snags a double kill. Cannot get the last kill, and Geometrics will fly forward with a deagle kill onto Adam.
So that round from a FlipSid, well played to eXcellence, but from FlipSid, it just seemed like a little bit not enough aggression coming out to really hunt down those roamers. They were saying to themselves, okay, here's what we'll do. We'll do the very standard take. We'll start from the west. We'll progress into the kitchen. We'll take control of kitchen, and we'll draw the line there. We're not going to force out anything too terribly much. Once they didn't get any results from that, any kills, because my man was so efficient at running away and kiting, they were like, all right, let's force into meeting hall, and because of that force into meeting hall, that immediately put them at a man disadvantage. And because it was only one person, there was no refrag, which meant going into the rest of the push into the west windows. Now we're at a man disadvantage. We haven't refragged at all, and we haven't cleared out the roamers, which means we're going to get flanked. And more importantly, we haven't taken care of any of the anchors. So the push into the site from FlipSid, unfortunately, you know, when you haven't done step 1 or 2, it's not really going to go your way, unfortunately. And they tried really hard to FlipSid's. To be fair to FlipSid, they did try very hard. It was just really great kiting and avoiding engagements from eXcellence to allow them to get that late flank off, as well as simply stay alive on the site, which meant they were going to put themselves now on a 3-1 round count.
I think one of the things to recognize, though, about pushing from small tower in from the west side and taking over kitchen is if you can gain control of those back stairs, that only gives you control of a portion of the A site. If you go, that only gives you the option to go big window and back stairs. You can't go into the north windows because you haven't secured Red Tower. You can't push into the attic or into the main dorms or the armory because you haven't secured the front of Orchid. So there's really as much ground and as much room as you've taken control of, you haven't done much to gain control of that bomb site.
And that's why we see a Tower B window take, or a armory take for that matter, be a little bit more of the norm, the common strategy for the take. And here you can see just that happening right now. eXcellence are going for what seems to be a B window tower take. And the reason for that is because, again, like you were talking about, I mean, with this you can not only cut off the roamers and deny them any flanking potentials, but you can also equally actually push into the site, right? There's a direct way to get into the site. And you can see this Capitao coming out here. This Capitao is utilized to try and disable whomever is playing on the defending squad directly in the B-bomb site, because there are some corners you can hide very well that are disabled by these fire arrows. You can see here right now, the fire arrow coming out in the middle window is actually not going to hit any
Oh, he's going to grab one. He cannot grab the other, though. He does take down my man. That's the Capitao off the board. However, Gurmy Wormy, that's going to be the Blackbeard still here on the North Towers. I can't help but think if he got that first shotgun kill to take out the Capitao, the second one would have been right for the rear end of the Blackbeard.
Yeah, it's unfortunate that he only managed to pick off one, but at least he traded himself out, and that's what's important. However, B site control has been completely forfeited to eXcellence now, and as you can see, there's only one player from the flip side of all four ready to retake this.
Now, what they do, oh, a good headshot kill from Mint, picking it up there onto Fox. What they do have is a bunch of holes. Oh, another kill there from Mint. Fabulous job taking out the Blackbeard and the Ash. Now, Brian and looks like Thatcher are going to be the last two alive here. Looks as though we do have Thatcher been injured. That's Gio falling down. Now, he actually managed to take off one kill. I think that might have been Chala. They got taken out. Now, there comes one kill. He looks on over, goes for the second, and grabs it. What a 4K by Mint.
A very, very well earned 4K there from Mint. Like you said, just honestly, I mean, we're talking about strategy here. eXcellence, they won that round. They took control of the B-bomb site. Sure, the Thatcher got downed outside, and that put them at a huge disadvantage. However, when they were making their push into the B-bomb site, Mint was there, and he had something to say about it. He was like, no, sir, you cannot have my B-bomb site. I'm taking it back now. And the interesting thing about that is that the only player from FlipSid who is in any way in a position to retake the site before the diffuser plant went down was Mint. And
Well,
if he hadn't stepped up, then they would have almost certainly been an eXcellence round.
But we saw a lot of the players in kitchen. They'd opened up the floor with Mira's shotgun with the C4. So I think they were trying to play more of an underneath, just waiting to hear that diffuser get planted, toss up either more C4 or shoot or whatever it might be. But you're right, for the retake aspect of it, Mint was the only one in position.
Yeah, and the C4 from underneath is all well and good, but when you have still 4 players left alive on the attacking squad, they can just, well, okay, he died to the C4. I'm going to go ahead and pick up the diffuser and continue the plant. So Mint being in that position and fulfilling his role, getting his job done with that 4K, really did save his team in that round, I feel. Now, we are going to be seeing another basement defense coming out from eXcellence. They're going to be going down and trying to make this work for the first time. It has been unsuccessful for, I believe, both of these teams. The back-end attack coming from the red tower has been very dominant so far, and it doesn't seem like either of the squads know really how to directly counter it. The mirror window, you would say, well, okay, mirror window in the hallway. Well, both of them have been doing that, and both of those both times the mirror window has been disabled by a Bonnet charge. You would say, okay, well, let's bandit the mirror window wall. Well, no, you can't do that, and the reason you can't bandit that mirror window is because it's so easy for the attackers to open up the drop down in meeting hall above the hallway, and then you can grenade the bandits, you can flash the bandit, drop on him and kill the bandit. If he's active banditing it, you can do so many things to disable it. You can Thatcher it if you have a Thatcher. FlipSid doesn't. But there's just a lot of options to disable that mirror window.
It looks like Fox will try to pop a couple shots there onto Adam. Misses the majority of them, but still takes a little bit of health off.
Right, and this meeting hall roam coming out from eXcellence right now is, while it's being pressured, it's kind of being pressured in the sense of, well, okay, this wall's open. All we need to do is kind of wait until one of the attackers start to push into the wall, and then, hey, look at that, we have a crossfire. So while Foxay might die in this fight, Pojo Man picking off my man elsewhere, however, that's, I think, Attic. No, that's top tower being picked off all the way down from lobby stairs. What a shot from Pojo Man to start things off here. That's a good job by him. Meanwhile, it looks like FlipSid is going to set themselves up for a very standard main lobby take, and that makes sense given that they have brought Capitao to the field. Capitao, again, we talked about earlier, he is used almost primarily to disable that mirror window placement in the closet downstairs.
Now we do see the drone coming out here from the kitchen. It's going to be spotting out, looks like Fox inside of the cubby, going to tell him, okay, he's pushing on over into meeting hall. Now he's only spotted one. Could he see the other? No,
wow.
The MPX headshot coming out of Fox to finish off Adam.
What a shot from Fox. two fantastic shots to put it now on a 4-4, the trades coming out here.
Now you can instantly see FlipSid rotating over to Kitchen to make sure that eXcellence cannot use that same rotation to get the flank on. So a 4-on-4 is going to stay at it for the moment as it's a 35-second rounds left. Now it looks like there's that Capital Fire. That's what you've been talking about, how it denies the push. Ooh, a little bit more wiggle room, and that might just be the end of Smoke. He's got about 15 health. The C4, though, perfect placement from Gurmy. Takes out the Mint. Now, fortunately, that was not Diffuser that dropped, or if it did, it got picked up very quickly.
A bomb has been loaded.
Oh, and there's Fox getting another kill there on Hot and Cold. Can he get the third one? No, Pojo Man's going to be there to deny it. Geo, however, will take down Chala as Pojo Man picks up the third kill, comes down with a deagle, grabs the kill, but doesn't look like he will be able to get the final kill as Brian peeks on the round with that SMG-11. eXcellence Gaming now leads 4-2 in this best of 3.
So a 4K from Pojo Man, but unfortunately it was not enough for FlipSid, as there was still one player left alive. That smoke was so lit. It's unfortunate that Pojo Man was not able to reposition on the other side of the mirror window and put himself into a fair one-on-one, but it is what it is. A nice try by Pojo.
That was a 4K for Pojo, so fantastic job. First we had a 4K from Mint, then Pojo. I mean, this is kind of what Fox had mentioned better, or at least alluded to during the interview, was that with going up against Continuum, they had 2 fraggers. Going up against FlipSid, each and every member on this team can hold their own. And we're seeing that with Pojo Man, with Mint, with each member of their team.
With Adam. Especially 10 frags coming out from Adam. He's been having a fantastic game starting things out here on our first map. It is, however, 4-2 for eXcellence. They are looking very strong right now, having a really great go of this particular first map. Now, this is of course, to be fair, this is eXcellence's map. They did want to bring FlipSid to Oregon. This is the map they chose of the 3. So this is, you could argue that this is predictable. However, we talked about this earlier. eXcellence is the team that needs to prove themselves here. FlipSid is the team that has been very consistent in their play throughout the seasons. Sure, they had a little bit of trouble at the last season's finals, LAN event, getting eliminated in the first bracket, but overall as a team, they've proven time and time again that they are extremely strong. So eXcellence coming out 4-2 right now is looking fantastic for that. Definitely a team to be reckoned with in the North American Pro League. I mean, even if you didn't really believe it, if you maybe thought that Continuum was a little bit of a one-off thing, no sir, no sir.
Now, eXcellence has definitely put in the legwork to get themselves to where they're going right now, and what it's looking like it's going to get them to is a victory here on Oregon.
Yeah, now they are going to be setting themselves up. Now, I like that both of these teams have opted to rotate their attack strategies on the basement here, as we are going to be seeing a main lobby take coming out from eXcellence, similar to what we were seeing with FlipSid. Now, it's interesting that they're going for it this time. There is a double mirror window from FlipSid on the closet, as well as you can see almost all of them. Wow, the mirror windows have been opened, actually. Was that possibly?
I think it was just the first one they decided to open.
Just the first one? Okay, well, yeah.
We'll have to take a look in first-person mode to see.
Yeah.
But what that's basically going to do, you can see it right there. So he's opened up one. Again, this is that double mirror strat. It allows him to toss the gas grenade without being exposed for too long.
Right. And we're going to be seeing Gurmy. He's going to be coming down these stairs just to challenge directly with the shield in front of his face. He has a good chance of winning the fight if Adam chooses to challenge the Blackbeard from this mirror window. But all the same, it's really interesting that we're having this rotation. We could see just a back end take come out here with the double. Oh, no.
Now, that might be beneficial. I think he tagged every single one except the one that's going to destroy. Or I don't think the window got destroyed.
Yeah, the window's still intact, which means it was worth it. Absolutely, Hot and Cold sacrificing his life for the greater good.
Oh, and a good kill from Min, tagging it back in the hallway. He's going to down Gurmy. That's the Blackbeard off the board. 55 seconds to go with a 4-on-4. Gas grenade comes on out, stops the plant from going down. That's going to force Hibana to back on out of there. That's Brian. Now he's going to hop back on the drone, try to figure out where the members from FlipSid are. Looks like we have a little trade going on as my man will fall to Chala, but then he gets traded back by Fox. Now the gas grenades will come. Looks like we will see Brian go on down. He couldn't get the plant going, so therefore he will fall by Adam's gas grenade. That's going to be a successful kill there by Adam. I think giving him 11 or 12 kills after 7 rounds of play. 25 seconds left on the board. Geo tries to come on forward. Now a 4-on-2. Fox is trying to hold up top, but another gas grenade. That's going to force him to back on out of there. 15 seconds. That's the last and final gas grenade. He's just going to go for the plant in the middle. Now he might get shot here and taken on out. Looks like Mint tags it on down. Fox gets Adam on the trade. Now Poacher Man's up inside the laundry. There's the kill. And we're going to see FlipSid secure this back 4-3 now. They're only trailing by 1 round.
1 round indeed, but you know, it's really interesting. eXcellence and FlipSid both, they were successful in their back-end tower construction take on this particular bomb site, and then when they tried to move over to the lobby, both of them were unsuccessful. I mean, it's interesting that that would happen, and it makes you wonder why they need to, you know, the question is, if it ain't broke, why fix it? But I mean, I'm sure that next time we see one of these teams go into a basement defense, either eXcellence or FlipSid, they're going to be going, all right, yeah, let's go ahead and take tower and construction again, because that was working. That was working so very well. Now, eXcellence is going to be thrust onto defense. They're going to go ahead and, yeah, 11 kills from Adam. That is stupendous.
I think one of the things to note with FlipSid's defense downstairs, first, they prepared themselves for a forward push. The attack came from the back. Second time, they set themselves up for both, and the attack came from the back. Then they pushed everything towards the front. They had both mirror windows facing front.
And they predicted it too,
and they predicted it, and eXcellence Gaming's just like, okay, we're still going to meet that head on instead of going around towards the back.
Yeah, and the question is why not make that rotation? Why not see, hey, and it's really simple to see this. It's like, okay, you open up the lobby drop down, you see, oh, there's 2 mirror windows in the closet. Okay, let's just go ahead and take from tower now. We don't have to spend our time, you know, walling away in the lobby. However, you know, there is a lot of things, a lot of complications to add on to that. You know, there's things like, okay, well, if we're going to do a tower take, then we need to take control of Meeting Hall. We also have to make sure there's no roamers getting aggressive on the tower stairs, which is going to take about 30-40 seconds by itself, and that's going to require somebody to drone somebody else in through the whole lane. Now, that's a lot of time wasted. Then once you get yourself started into challenging the angles downstairs, you might come down to a situation where you only have 15 seconds left. So I'm sure eXcellence, they felt a little bit backed into a corner, felt like they needed to commit just based upon a time scale factor. Now, starting into this attack here, we are seeing FlipSid. Now, previously on this particular defense, eXcellence was successful. FlipSid was unsuccessful in their attack. And it looks like FlipSid is going to be starting out their attack in the same exact fashion. There's no real variation coming out here. It's going to be a west to east take all the way up to kitchen. Now the question is then, will FlipSid hunt down the roamers, force out some kills, or will they simply focus on those west window and white stairs again?
Ooh, and a good head tap there by my man to drop out the buck, which the reason you bring that buck is for that vertical play, so they've just denied that. My man's like, okay, I can give up kitchen now. I've taken out their primary operator to play this vertical game.
And that's a lot. That does not bode well for FlipSid. There's not a lot of options for them now, especially, okay, so no vertical game, okay? There's no real control because what have you taken? You've taken control of kitchen and bathroom. And you can, sure, push your way onto the main white stairs and the west window without having to worry about a flank coming out. But what does that really give you? That just gives you 2 avenues that could be easily held from the defenders. And you can see here the attackers are very much trying to use vertical game, and Chala will pick off Fox A despite the lack of a buck. But I think that actually might have been holes that the defenders opened themselves.
Yes, they opened it up themselves to try to help out
my
man. But unfortunately, he just got caught a little bit off guard.
Yeah, now it is going to be 56 seconds left to go, but even man count, so FlipSid still have a chance to keep themselves in this. Match point, again, if eXcellence managed to lock this round out, it is going to be moving onto map number 2 in favor of eXcellence. If FlipSid bring it back, it will be overtime.
Now we are going to have Chala trying to get himself up to the top of these back stairs. 35 seconds, a 4-on-4. Gio's going to come around from the classroom into the kitchen hallway. He's going to get a trade on as he finishes off Chala but gets injured in the process. Now my man's going to come on over. I don't think he's going to pick up Gio. I think instead he's going to go for the bait. This is not a wise move if he goes to pick him up. So instead he actually saw Min's shoulder. He will not be able to pick up his teammate, and therefore he's going to rotate back, just waste even more time. He's got 15 seconds to go. It's a 3-on-3 now. They know that one's back in the tower, so it's now a 2-on-3 because they're going to go full-fledged into the middle here. Looks like we're going to see the SMG-11 come out. Pojo turns to the wrong side. Brian's going to snag a double kill. Min's going to be here. He's trying to get the plans out, but he can't. Goes for 1 kill. Can I get the last one? We're going to see eXcellence win this map 5-3 in what was just a tremendous hold there by Brian.
What a great hold, like you said, from Brian. But overall, it just seems like a faint-hearted attack from FlipSid. After they lost that buck, they don't really have a lot of options, really, to get rid of those anchors. And then moving into the attack, in the site you talked about it earlier, there aren't really any choices. Now, overall, for the map as a whole, We saw a couple mistakes on both sides. Oh, look at those score lines. Ryan and Adam really stepping up for both of their teams.
I mean, regardless, flip side, like I said, they lost by 2 rounds there, but their kills and their deaths, the scoreboards looked like they were in an 11-round like tooth and nail.
Pretty reflective,
yes.
Yeah. Pretty reflective of each other. But overall, again, a couple mistakes made by both teams. I would say on the basement, we saw pretty much, again, like you said, a reflection of each other.
Yep.
When we're attacking from the tower, we're winning as an attacking squad. When we're attacking from the lobby, we're losing as an attacking squad. But what happened that really entered into variation was the top floor. FlipSid just did not have the attack strat for that top floor. Taking control of the kitchen and then trying to open up from below really isn't working for them there.
Yep. Now we are going to get underway with highlights from this previous map on Oregon. Let's take a look at just some of the kills that went down.
Right, and this right here was the take coming from the north side of the building, that north tower, and this was working for the attackers 9 times out of 10, I believe. Actually, every time, I'm pretty sure. And it just goes to show, it's like, why we need to rotate around and have that variation in strategy when something works so definitively. I mean, arguably, there were some great clutches like this, for example, coming out from Gurmy to bring rounds back for the attackers when they're going from the tower. However, it still was a victory. Oh, almost. Just barely 1 second off there on that last kill. Oh, could have gotten off that Blackbeard, or could have killed that Blackbeard, but it just did not happen. And the attack, again, this was the single differentiating factor.
Now, one of the things I want to point out here from Mint, and what you might have caught, is instead of looking down at his target, he knew that the momentum was already taking him down to that floor, so he looked at parallel level with where he would be and pre-fired that. So when he came down, he was already firing where the targets were going to be.
Right. And, to talk about that round, though, strategically speaking, eXcellence, again, they won that round overall. If you have to really look at it, like, they took control of the B bomb site. They had established control. They were ready to make the push happen, the diffuser go down, but Mint just stepped way up. He was ready to receive that, and he managed to get the comeback. So again, we're talking about how attacks are going onto the top floor really being the deciding factor on that map. And I think it comes down to just FlipSid's attack into the top floor just not being good enough.
I think there are some opportunities for them to come back onto this VOD, re-look at it and say, look, we messed up here. We did excellent here, but there's still some things we can work on.
Right.
And I'm sure they'll go back, they'll work on it. However, congratulations to eXcellence on winning map number 1. However, they're not out of the woods yet. They still have another game or 2 to continue playing.
So the thing is they're going to be going on to Skyscraper now,
Yes.
and that is FlipSid's pick. So if eXcellence doesn't have strategy on Skyscraper, I mean, if they don't have all their bases covered here, plus FlipSide's one of those teams that we've talked about before. They like to bring us to new things. So Skyscraper, that's kind of, well, it's an arguably new thing. It's finding its way into the meta a little bit more now, but it's still not played by every team.
I mean, it's basically came out in what, November? So it's had about 7 months in the turkey baster to finally roast up, get a good strategy going for it. So we are going to see it here for map number 2 in this best of 3. Again, eXcellence starting on attack, FlipSid starting on defense.
Apparently, we're going to be having a rehost. So
wrong side is what the teams have chosen.
A switcheroo here coming out, guys. Apologize for that. Bear with us, and we will be back with that momentarily. Shouldn't take long.
We've talked about in Skyscraper before how typically the preferred bomb site is going to be the tea room and karaoke. Second bomb site's kind of still up in the air. We've seen the kitchen and barbecue. We've also seen the exhibition and the display area, or trophy room, whatever you want to call it. Do you see any viability in the kitchen, or not the kitchen, I'm sorry, the bedroom downstairs below exhibition?
See, the thing is that arguably you could say yes, right? So you could say, okay, one of the ways we could hold this site is we could open up all the different walls in between the site and just hold it from outside the site itself. The dilemma there is that you can't do that either. So the problem with the site itself is that it's so exposed to the balcony outside of it. I say the balcony, the platform outside, all the windows. There's so many opportunities for the attackers there. But more importantly, it's so easily pinched from the sides in that you can come in from delivery. You just walk in through the front delivery door and you establish very much a lot of control over the hot tub room just through those windows and doors leading into the hot tub room. So, and then there's the door to the platform out, the patio outside of just adjacent to the A-bomb site. There's not really a lot of choices to defend that site unless you're going above. And then if you're gonna go above, just defend the trophy. Like you don't need to defend downstairs. It just becomes redundant at that point. Plus, you have to assert control over terrace, and it just becomes this whole big mess. So I think for the most part, people are preferring overall to defend that karaoke room because karaoke is very easily the default site on this map. And then on the secondary one, they're usually going for that kitchen barbecue because kitchen barbecue is almost a reflection of karaoke. It's simply, okay, we're going to defend the lower floor from above now. I mean, it's going to be very similar.
Yep. Now, we have the map getting underway at the moment. Correct sides have finally been chosen. So we are going to take a look at those operator selections. I believe this time FlipSid will be on attack and eXcellence will be on defense.
Right, and here you have it. Just as you said, Karaoke Tea Room going to be coming out first round for eXcellence. They're also bringing a Castle and a Mira. Now, Castle could be used to great effect here. We have seen a couple different ways, a couple different interpretations of holding Karaoke Tea Room. And one of the more interesting ones that I've seen is mirror windows placed in that A-bomb site, looking into, the A-bomb site looking into towards Geisha and opening up the walls of Geisha to make it so if you enter into Geisha as an attacker, it becomes just kind of like this little hole of death that the defenders can utilize. Doesn't look like that's what's happening here for eXcellence though, unless they're going to be putting that mirror window directly on that hallway. Yeah, no, that's actually what is going to be happening. Mirror window going down in the hallway wall. Going to be interesting because that means now that eXcellence is going to be investing in maintaining control over that top of stairs hallway, and that's not super easy to hold, especially when you have an attacker coming from terrace/drum area.
Yep. Now, one of the things that they could do if they really wanted to push their way into Geisha is they could easily toss in a flashbang underneath the drone hole. Because that's actually going to look right into where that mirror window is. It gives them a few seconds to pop in and potentially rush forward, but
we'll see if that happens. Mint is going to be bringing the IQ to the field, and that is to do exactly what you just saw, ladies and gentlemen, which is get rid of those cameras. Cameras on Skyscraper are from Valkyrie are very useful, as there are quite a lot of places to hide them. So, especially, more importantly, on these balconies that you see Pojaman rappelling onto now, if you have a camera on these balconies, it gives you so much potential to run out onto the attackers. Is there, what, 3 windows there? 1, 2, 3, 4 windows?
I hate to cut you off. I hate to cut you off there. I think Pojaman, he hopped on a drone. I was going to say, Pojaman, if he keeps on working his way over to the drone hole, Gio was right there waiting for it.
Yeah, Gio's looking for that opportunity, utilizing that drone hole. We talked about the pressure coming onto these, coming onto the balcony from the defenders is usually very good for them. I mean, you don't want to allow the attackers to maintain full control of the balcony without challenging them in any way, because then they can just position themselves in the best way possible for them to get the attack off. You can see here Pojaman baiting out that mirror window. There's no one playing it right now, but he's going to have that slight edge using his black shield if somebody tries to challenge him from the mirror window.
Now that mirror window does get opened up, and my man will be shot, not finished off, but will be seen as he rotates back over to the drum room stairs.
Right, and you can see that Twitch drone coming into great use for the attacking squad already. Getting rid of those mirror windows, opening up a lot of options for FlipSid. Previously, it would have been very difficult to challenge this B window. Now it's become quite a lot easier. However, there's still a Brian playing in the B-bomb site itself. You can see here FlipSid is going to go ahead and pick off Brian. That's the B-bomb site player. It looks like that was from north stairs.
Now we are going to see Mint tag a second kill there on a Gurmy. That's the IQ coming up the north stairs. He's going to try to get a third one, and he does! No, that's Pojaman trying to take him down, and he hits that crossfire. Fox still playing underneath. He's got the C4 ready for that Geisha room push. We are going to see my man get fallen and taken out. Last minute, it's going to be Fox. He's got to come up the middle south stairs. Looking over, he's going to actually work his way over towards north. He's going to meet the fate of Adam. Tosses the C4s. They both go down to the ground. We are going to see him get flown up into the sky and out to his grave, we'll say. I guess now it's a 4-on-1 with diffuser plants. He's going to have to come up these north stairs. Not too much time to waste.
He doesn't really have a lot of options here. Going up against a Blackbeard playing on that window is going to look pretty bad for him.
There it is, giving away his position. He will tag Hot down, but before he gets the final kill, he will get traded back by Chala, and FlipSid will go on to take round number 1 here on Skyscraper.
Like the way that FlipSid chose to handle that particular round, they were very, very good at disabling the defenses of eXcellence one step at a time. Got rid of those mirror windows, took control over Geisha, despite eXcellence clearly establishing Geisha as the sort of place that you don't want to go, kind of a no man's land, let's say. And they took control of Geisha, they utilized Geisha in the crossfire. They also utilized that B window to the fullest. I believe we saw, the best part about that strategy overall though, was just Mint coming up those northwest stairs, or I believe it's northwest. Yes, the northwest stairs coming up and taking control over B by picking off the smoke. It was Brian playing inside the B bomb site, and then also picking off one of the A players. I mean, that was fantastic. That was really huge for FlipSid just to start things off. That puts them now in a 5 versus 3. That's so many options opened up for your team. Yeah. And then all you have to do really is pressure into each lane at the same time, and they did just that. They came in through Geisha, they came in through the B window, they came in through the north balcony. They all together as a unit collapsed on the remaining anchors, and then it was all down to a roaming Valkyrie.
When I saw Mint and Hot and Cold both on the top of the north stairs, Mint, as you said, coming up, and we had Hot and Cold already on the balcony forcing his way into the door, and there was no one inside of B anymore. To me, that was, all right, you've got control of one entire bomb site, plus you're in a very advantageous position for taking over A. And that's exactly what they just finished off doing. Last man alive was underneath. That was Fox as Valkyrie, and they got the win.
And, it's interesting that that FlipSid was allowed to utilize those northwest stairs the way that they were, given that there was a roamer. I feel like a lot of the pressure that the roamer needed to be, a lot of the pressure that the roamer was exerting was not anywhere near the actual attack itself. And if we had had Valkyrie trying to maintain control of those northwest stairs, it could have been an entirely different story for eXcellence. You can see here, there's an absolutely reverse mirror window coming out where you can see Chala playing right now. That's the opposite direction of where eXcellence had it facing.
It looks like they are going to wait for that north balcony, north and northwest balcony push.
This is a really interesting strategy coming up from FlipSid. As you can see, they have completely forfeited control over both of the bomb sites and are utilizing mirror windows to try and pick off players on the attacking squad as they push into the bomb sites. Which, I mean, it would be amazing if it worked. They have a Doc playing inside B, but that's really it.
Adam is going to be on the other side of the 4 wall of A. Pojaman as well on the back stairs. So like you said, they forfeited almost everyone off of site. 2 are still going to be inside of Geisha. Hot and Cold's going to be playing that Doc. He's the only one on site. That's the B site by Karaoke.
Yeah, and this is very dangerous play coming out from FlipSid, but obviously this is their strategy. This is what they worked on. This is why we saw them so enthusiastically bring us to Skyscraper.
Now you do have Chala holding down that mirror window. He's going to be looking through the whole corridor, which is exactly what is preventing my man from easily taking this on. Now this will get the wall opened up by Hot and Cold, and therefore he will be put into a very peculiar position. He's now going to wait to say, do I challenge this? Do I stay underneath? He's going to stay under.
His entire job right now is just to stay alive as long as possible and avoid these angles coming out from the attacking squad.
Yep.
And he's doing just that right now.
Now it looks like we might see a nade come in from Sledge. Might be trying to toss it in. No, he doesn't. He has 0 frag grenades left. He used them already. Hot and Cold is already fully healed. Looks like shot's going to come in, but it's Chala trying to hold him down and actually saves his friend's life. Now Hot and Cold will pick up the kill into Geo as he is still alive. We're going to see Fox try to go for some of his own kills. He's moving up the north stairs, coming on around. Flashbang's going to go. That's going to not blind Hot and Cold, but it will force him to turn his back. Now Fox has gotten his way into the site as Hot and Cold recovers his vision, looks on over, goes for the shot. He gets the kill. That's a double kill for Hot and Cold. He finally gets taken out, but he does down Brian in the process. Last man alive is going to be Gurmy. Looks like he comes up the north stairs, tries to rush on him with a deagle, turns around, and Pojo Man is there to go. 5 seconds left, and he tags on 1, but then gets taken down by Chala. FlipSid goes up 2-0 on Skyscraper.
Wow, what a hard counter coming out from FlipSid. Absolutely read into how it was that every team very typically attacks this particular bomb. Even FlipSid attacked from the northwest primarily, taking care of those. Once you establish control of the northwest stairs, you have so many options to pivot onto the A and the B bomb site on that attack. And FlipSid completely nullified that with their own unique attack or defense strategy. What a creative one at that, too. I mean, it is a little bit scary though to imagine if they had, what would happen if they had lost control over Geisha, but clearly eXcellence weren't trying to take control of Geisha, so I mean it was just hard counter from FlipSid, and unfortunately not read into from eXcellence.
Yeah.
And this is the lack of information eXcellence was talking about in their interview going up against FlipSid. Like they aren't entirely sure what it is Flip's going to be doing on each of these rounds.
And I think, like I said, one of the oversights that happened with eXcellence is they didn't realize how to counter.
Yeah.
I was going to say counter hot and cold inside of the B site. Well, I mean, the floor underneath of him is wooden. It takes one nade, takes one ash charge to go up underneath and get him out of that location.
Arguably, yes, but at the same time, he's playing that dock, and you saw that in the same sense, you know, yes, you could challenge him from underneath, but you can also challenge him from the side, and we did see that side challenge coming in through the east wall there, right next to Brian. We saw that exact challenge coming out. It was very similar to the underneath challenge. Obviously, I would agree with you that the underneath challenge is probably the better way to go, but they ended up losing it, and it's because Hot and Cold is a very consistent player. His aim is on point, and he's playing that dock operator. He's got a lot of HP. You're going to be shooting at his limbs. He might actually win that fight if you challenge him from below. And he did win that fight if you being challenged from the east side. But now, FlipSid moving back onto attack, and we are seeing eXcellence defending the same exact bomb site as they were unsuccessful previously, defending onto the Geisha room. Or sorry, well, the
Now, we were just talking about that karaoke room and how the vertical play could have been happening there to get the defenders out. However, we saw Brian earlier on in the prep phase actually pre-open it, and I think he just got a kill through the hole, right through there, through the window.
Right.
So he's already pre-opened it. He's playing the vertical game. He's the one engaging in it.
And this is what I was talking about earlier, is like challenging from below is all well and good, but at the same time, it is a two-way street. A lot of people don't realize that. Plus, for eXcellence specifically in this round, there is a roamer coming out, well, two roamers, matter of fact, coming out underneath. So if you're going to try and establish control over the bottom of northwest stairs, then you still have, and try to like open up below the hot and cold, you still have a lot to work on there.
Now, it looks as though eXcellence has tried to cause a little bit of a distraction or disturbance on the other side of the map, on the top floor by the reception area. They've used an impact grenade, it looks like, to open up some of the top stairs, that wall-facing Dragon. The FlipSid has taken quite a bit of a look. Ooh, a nice pick there from Mint as he goes for the drop shot onto Brian. He gets injured in the process. The C4 comes out to trade off the kill. Hot and Cold is going to be left alone here on that north balcony. He's going to rush on in towards the stairs, work his way down. Tries to go for the shot there on a Fox, tags him a little bit, takes a couple bullets in return, then looks back up and grabs that headshot onto Gurmy. Chawa, however, will finish off the kill there on the man. You've got two members left alive. They're both off-site. That is going to be Geo and Fox. Now, they both have C4. I'm sorry, Fox has already used his. Geo still has his to go, and he's going to be looking to try to pick off Hot and Cold.
As soon as Hot and Cold stands still.
There it is, and that is a goodbye, Hot and Cold. Sayonara. No, he picked off Shala, which means the plant's still going down because he's on the table. Fox comes around to finish him off. What a trade. Now a 1-on-3. This looked like it was going to be in the hands of FlipSid, but now Pojo Man having to go against both Pulse and Valkyrie. They've got this crossfire on the diffuser. Fox is inside sight as Pulse is on the back middle stairs. He's going to drop, go into some barbed wire, try to take this challenge here onto Fox. He doesn't see him, so he's going to have to rush in forward. Fox going to peek on up here momentarily, goes for some kills, but misses it. Geo's going to come swinging around, but Fox comes in from the yellow, coming to get the final kill, and eXcellence able to take this round back into their hands and win it. It's now 2-1 in favor of FlipSid.
So a very well-played round there for the eXcellent roamers, and that's really what we were seeing shine through. I mean, in previous attacks of the top floor coming out from FlipSid, we saw them neglect the roamer game. However, it used to just be a Valkyrie, and the Valkyrie was playing on the kitchen side. And because it was just Valkyrie playing in kitchen, it didn't really mean much. But now we have a Valkyrie and a Pulse, and that Wombo combo with the double C4 and the just copious amounts of information gathering coming out on the roam game is allowed them to get that retake in fabulous fashion. And now, FlipSid, as they were successful in their upstairs defense, they are going to be going downstairs into the kitchen barbecue. And this is, again, this is the more preferred secondary site for a lot of teams, as it is similar to upstairs. I mean, it's not identical, let's not say that, but you can defend it in a very similar fashion.
Now, we talked about it before this series started. We talked about just the bracket structure today. one of these teams is going to be guaranteed a spot. One of the teams today that we're seeing right now between FlipSid and eXcellence, the winner of this best-of-3 series will be guaranteed a spot in the playoffs to then fight for their way to land. The second team, the loser of today's matchup between FlipSid and eXcellence, will not be guaranteed a spot, but is also not out of the running just yet.
Oh, that's unfortunately not going to be a rush coming out from eXcellence. They're just very organized. Coming together as a team, eXcellence are taking control over that north side of the building. Starting to look for their opportunities here, trying to feel out the FlipSid defense. You saw that same mirror window. Ooh, Geo taking off Hojo Man early on. That's the most heavily armored, or one of the most heavily armored defenders off the board. And more importantly, that's an entire Echo drone that will now be useless for the defenders moving forward.
Now Adam has been spotted out here inside of the restaurant. Looks like Fox is going to drone him out again here.
Located by attackers.
And there's also Hot and Cold getting droned out. So that's 2 of the 4 remaining defenders being droned out, and they know that their positions are secured. So now it's a way of how do we pinch in quickly to get the kill.
FlipSid seem to have all their bases covered here. Not really a lot of opportunities for eXcellence moving into this.
Ooh, a good C4 toss.
Coming out from Hot and Cold onto Fox is going to be putting FlipSid now back into an even man count. Now that's Ash off the board too. I mean, you could argue that that is just as detrimental to the attackers as Echo being lost is to the defenders. However, ooh, this angle.
Uh-oh, we're about to see a head tap. Oh, Adam's going to evade it.
Barely. That is so dangerous for Adam to be playing that into that angle. I don't think he's conscious of this angle at all. And Gurmy, looking for the opportunity here, is just going to wait nice and patiently.
So Hot and Cold is tucked away inside of the corner. Adam's still there in the same position. Looks like Gio's going to rappel into the balcony on north, which is right outside that elevator hallway. We're going to see him look up towards Drum, where no one's situated at the moment, but Chala and Mint are still topside. It looks as though with 60 seconds remaining, we aren't going to see a clearing of the roamers. All the attackers are going to be on first floor.
This is very dangerous play from Gio, but it could pay off dividends if he picks off Adam.
He is going to go for the shots. He picks off Adam, like you just said, and that is Gio trying to go back to the reception area, get that reload, and now he's going to recover and push in even further. Now, we do have my man able to get his way into the bathroom by the north stairs, and he might be trying to push in towards Hot and Cold here, but Chala's going to tag a couple more bullets onto Gio. This is what happens when you don't clear out the roamers. Hot actually rotated back upstairs. Everyone is off-site for FlipSid, and now they're going to be playing through the holes that they've already made, whether it be the holes in the floor, the drop hatches, or what it could be. The diffuser is getting planted. He doesn't see it right there. It looks like it was successful. And therefore, Brian will get it down, but he does get finished off by Mint. My man, though, tags onto Chala. And we will see a drop back over here into the kitchen. Now, Mint trying to rotate around. That's one of his dead teammates. Unfortunately, some bullets are going to come flying through. Looks like Twitch. It's going to be Gio, not able to get down for the count just yet. Here comes a revolver shot. He misses the target. That's Mint swinging around, getting the double kill. Now a 2-on-1. He's the last man alive against Gurmy and my man. My man's going to be at the north stairs. He's just been spotted by the camera. He's going to come swinging, tagging around. Will he be able to get this quick shot? He's going to rush on through. Go for the kill there on my man. Will he see it? He goes for the kill. But he gets tagged outside by Gurmy. And that is eXcellence, previously down 2-0, bringing this back to a 2-2 tie at the moment.
A nice try there from Mint at the end of things to try, bring it back for his team. Unfortunately, not enough clutch, and he will be taken out. Now, what happened there from eXcellence was they just saw a gaping hole in the FlipSid defense, which was the main lobby. As you saw reception, Gio kind of just crouched his way in through reception. Let's be honest. He's just like, okay, well, I'm just going to go and walk in here, come up behind the defensive FlipSid, and start picking off players one by one. It's possible that that pick that Gio got earlier was the player who was meant to hold that particular flank. And normally, what you would do on this particular defense to deny what we saw from Gio is play someone at the main bar, which is just to the right of your screen there on the southeast corner is the main bar. You play a defender there, and he can deny one of the attackers pushing into reception or main door. But unfortunately, because that player didn't exist for the defensive team, the push was just very easy for Gio to open things up for his team, pushing into the site itself. There was also a very heavy roamer presence coming out from FlipSid Tactics. And while they did have, as you saw, those very nice holes into the barbecue room, it just wasn't enough because he kind of wasn't paying attention, I suppose, or his team didn't make the call, or at some point he may have looked away from his hole and his hold in general. and because of that, the defuse plant went down, and that was pretty much the end of the round.
Now we can see eXcellence trying to throw out some good Valkyrie cameras, but in return we've got Mint, who's continually brings that IQ.
Yeah, and here you see again, Pojoman, he's repelling on the east balcony, and as obviously you see Blackbeard repelling onto this east balcony 9 times out of 10 on these attacks, and it's just because he lends so much power from this position. He can, not only does he have the shield in front of his face, but he can move around to make it even more difficult to break that shield or challenge his torso in general. He's got a lot. He's got a lot of power from this position. That Hibana opening up the mirror window is going to also allow the attackers afford the attackers a lot of power.
Now Mint does pop in towards reception with diffuser in hand. Brian will tag him down from behind the bar as he tries to go for the shot to the man. Now because that was a 3 armored operator with Rook, that man, it will not get finished off, but he is very low on health.
And see, that's what I'm talking about there. That's exactly how you counter a push in through reception. Ooh, I like that angle, by the way. Just have somebody play behind the bar, be ready for the push to come down, and trade it back at least, or just finish off the kill before your teammate gets eliminated. And we did see just that happen. And the diffuser, more importantly, has
Brian snags another kill there on the hot and cold as he pushes on into the pantry. That is Ash going down. That's 2 members from FlipSid fallen, and still a minute 15 to go. We are going to see Brian toss out 1 gas grenade towards the window reception, looking on back towards pantry. Right now, they know that Brian is here, and because he's killed off 2 enemies so far, this is where they're going to be pushing, because he also knows if his eye was keen enough that diffuser has been dropped in reception.
Yeah, that was a very dangerous play from IQ that unfortunately now is putting the attacking team on a very in the bad position.
Ooh, Gio's got the crossfire inside the library, inside of the elevator. He's going to snag a double kill there, dropping Adam as well. Now 5-on-1. This is going to be FlipSid, unfortunately losing their 2-0 lead, and now making it 3-2 in favor of eXcellence Gaming. Pojoman is going to be inside of the bomb site, but again, this is not going to bid well for him, as it is a slow Blackbeard against 5 seemingly impossible to defeat eXcellence members.
Yeah, and that was a very dominant round coming out from eXcellence. Like you said, it all started with Brian putting his foot down from the bar. Pojoman is looking for this opportunity to pick off Brian at least. You know, get a couple kills on the board. Why not? He's going to actually pick off Brian, so that's a good start for him. But only 13 seconds. He does not have the time to kill all of these defenders.
Oh, I thought that might have been a deagle kill from the Valkyrie in the elevator hallway, but it's my man swinging up from above.
Yeah, good job from eXcellence there. And again, so that defense really just started with Brian. You saw FlipSid try to start things off with the same way that Gio picked apart the defense last round, which is, all right, let's go in through reception. Let's eliminate the defender who's playing at the bar. Then let's push our way in through to on the flank of every other defender. But unfortunately for FlipSid, Brian was the player at the bar, and Brian was ready to receive just that attack. And more so, I think he also dealt with a delivery push as well. So just good a hold overall by him, and then his team just kind of swept up the leftovers of FlipSid. There wasn't a lot of fighting or power coming onto their roster after having lost 2 early on. FlipSid, however, going to be defending that top floor now yet again. I really like the way they defended this earlier. It was one of the strongest victories they had in this particular map so far. Now the question is, are eXcellence going to read into this defense, these mirror placements, and counter them directly? So you got a couple different ways you can do that. For example, when we're talking about opening up from underneath the B bomb site to get rid of hot and cold, that is arguably one of the best ways to deal with that B bomb site player. But also more importantly, just taking control of Geisha Room. Once you nullify Geisha Room, that mirror window then becomes to your advantage as an attacker. And it's not as if taking control of Geisha Room is a foreign concept or difficult for that matter. Even if you have Mint Bandit juggling inside Geisha, it's still pretty, you know, you're usually the attacking squad can take control over the Geisha Room itself. So will it be enough that they now know this this defense strategy is a thing? And will they read into it and try to counter it? It looks like they are.
Yeah, and even if you don't go for hot and cold inside of the karaoke room, you can still open up the floor underneath of Chala, underneath in Geisha, which is from kitchen. You can still open that up and open up the mirror window. So there's multiple ways that you can go against, or at least counter, portions of this defensive hold, playing vertically, which we didn't see previously, and it's not looking like we'll see it right now either.
It looks like the Hibana charges will open up that wall. Mint's going to be feeling very aggressive here. He will be droned out. It's going to run away, just barely making it away with his life.
Now my man will tag down Hot and Cold. Previously, Hot and Cold is what caused the defense to just hold on to that karaoke room, but dying in such pace, we'll say, or such ferocity, we aren't going to see that happen here anymore. Now a minute 30 still to go. We're going to see the second wall. All Hibana charges will go to open up the Geisha wall here. They've realized how vital it is for this to be held for FlipSid, and therefore they are going to spot, a couple shots flying right past the head of Geo. Chala just missing his target.
Oh, it looks like the Jaegers defaulted off of the mirror window. That's, again, a lot of control forfeited for the defending team. There's still a bandit hiding away in that corner, who I do not believe has been spotted, which might end up picking off a kill before FlipSid fully loses control over Geisha. But as soon as eXcellence gets a player into the Geisha itself and onto that mirror window, the round is all but lost for FlipSid.
Now Gurmy looks like he might be the one to hop in here. Right now, he's looking for the shot there onto Adam, tags him down, but he's not out just yet. He's going to try to crawl his way back to the stairwell. There was the shots there onto Gurmy, but he had to reload. Looks like Geo picks up two as Gurmy will tag one here on to Mint. Chala is flashed here, and we are going to see him possibly go down. I think he's inside of the drum room. We do have Blackbeard finally inside of Geisha. 1-on-5 now, again, in favor of eXcellence. This is not the FlipSid that we saw in the first two rounds of this map. Instead, eXcellence seems to have upped their game tremendously. And now it's going to be up to, I was going to say Chala, but no. eXcellence Gaming will take this round number 6.
It was up to Chala. It was not enough, though. I really like the setup that we saw from FlipSid there, but the fatal flaw of it is similar to what we saw, or what we see on the fatal flaw of Cash Room on Clubhouse. That there's always just one particular way the other team can go to directly counter it, directly counter that defense. And if you nullify Geisha, which is just what eXcellence did, which, by the way, let's take a second to acknowledge a great read from eXcellence. The fact that they saw, okay, well, they're defending from Geisha. Let's go Geisha, open up Geisha, and then we can continue with our attack. And as soon as you do that, the FlipSid hold kind of just doesn't really have a lot of teeth. Now it's match point, series point, also in favor of eXcellence, and eXcellence gets to defend the preferred bomb site, which is upstairs.
Now, previously, FlipSid won this the first time eXcellence tried holding it. Second, I think they went, did they purposely go downstairs? Or
Okay,
did they
so
go
the
up here and
first
win?
time what happened is the roam game from eXcellence was just Fox A on that Valkyrie, and he was playing way over in the kitchen. And the anchors onto the site itself got picked off one by one by FlipSid. Some great crossfire actually coming out from them. Second time, the anchors got picked off again by FlipSid, one by one, and it was still very much in favor of FlipSid going into the take of the site itself. But the C4 coming out from underneath, from now an extra roamer in that pulse from eXcellence, that's that Geo player. He's playing downstairs with the Valkyrie, allowed the retake to happen by picking off one player, putting it into a 2 versus 2, and then Valkyrie came up to stop the defuse plant, putting it into a 2 versus 1. So the roam game is what FlipSid needs to focus on this round to bring themselves back into this match, put it onto a 3-4. If FlipSid neglect the roam game, they could still win the round, but they put it to kind of a gamble. It then becomes a question of if the C4 is going to land or not. And the C4 will land, starting things off where onto Pojo Man. And Blackbeard being picked off from the attacking squad is huge. That is a lot of pressure that is just no longer there for FlipSid. So a very bad start for this round.
So one of the things I was going to question or ask about is with Fox A tossing out his Valkyrie cameras outside and easily being picked off by the IQ.
Right.
Those Valkyrie cameras seemingly are useless. So
arguably, yeah.
Arguably are useless. So should there be another operator other than Valkyrie you go against or you pick against a team that constantly brings IQ to change it up?
Whoa, this aggressive play from Chala though, just real quick. This is crazy.
Ooh, almost a double tap there from Chala. He's going to tag a couple bullets there onto my man. And a little bit onto the back there, I think that was Fox rotating on down. Mint looking like he might have hopped inside, downed Brian, but then hopped out before he could get the final kill. However, Mint pops back in with a pistol kill. Adam takes out my man. You've got Pulse who's underneath as he's the last man. Oh, I know there's 2 left alive on the defensive squad. It's Gurmy and eXcellence, but Gurmy gets picked off here by Adam coming up the middle stairs. Geo, last man alive, he's going to follow up soup behind Adam as he comes on up from the south stairwell. Looks like he might have Adam peeking his head, looking right at him, but he gets his head taken right off. Mint now looking on forward. Looks like Chala going to tag a little bit of bullets through the wall towards Geo, but not go for the kill. Looks like some bullets are going flying there. No C4 in the hands of Pulse anymore. So Geo's going to have to work his way here with 30 seconds left to go. He's coming up the north stairs. Diffuser is getting planted. Geo hears it. He's going for the rush, but the tag comes out from Chala. We are going to have FlipSid trying to bring this back into their hands. It's now 4-3. Still match point and series point for eXcellence Gaming.
So what we saw there from FlipSid was the same thing we've seen from them time and time again. It was just a very concise execution of the anchors themselves. And that was, by the way, way more aggressive from them. They were stepping it way, way up in that round, which is interesting to me. Most of the time, when you see a team who are on match point, series point, and they're in the fighting position of being backed into a corner, when you see that team, most of the time they will cower and play slower. They will try to go more strategic with their gameplay. But FlipSid just threw everything out the window and were like, all right, shift W into the site, go, 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 and it worked out stupendously for them. Now, they are still a 3-4 situation, and it's entirely possible that eXcellence could bring this back, as FlipSid are going to be defending that top floor again. Will FlipSid adapt their strategy? Now, previously, they've been very heavily invested in that Geisha room mirror window, and that has been since nullified by the eXcellence attack, reading into that and going, hey, let's take control of Geisha first. Now, could you repeat your question for me?
So, you're talking about me asking about Valkyrie and removing it? So, we know that almost every time FlipSid chooses IQ,
right,
and that is to find the Valkyrie cameras outside and also the ones inside. Seeing as how quickly they get picked off, should eXcellence consider picking someone else other than Valkyrie, because Valkyrie's typically chosen for her information, her cameras. If they're being taken out very quickly, is there someone else that could be more beneficial against a team like FlipSid?
I would argue yes. I would argue that you could bring something like an anchor, just a hard anchor, because what is problematic for eXcellence right now is that they are just being picked apart anchor-wise on the site one by one. They need somebody to stay alive and be able to fight tooth and nail for the sites themselves. So maybe a rook or a duck, but just in general, you're right in a sense that just not having those Valkyrie cameras kind of nullifies her usefulness. On the other side of the fence, though, there is the fact that she does bring a C4 and a very good gun, as well as being a 2-speed 2 armor. That's kind of preferable for a lot of players, individual players. So I think that you could argue for rotating Valkyrie off, but at the same time, having that C4 is super useful. Also, in that last round, we saw the Valkyrie cams, despite eXcellence not winning the round, we saw the Valkyrie cams still inside of the bomb sites used exceedingly well, even onto an IQ. So I think honestly, overall, I'd say Valkyrie has a good home on this map.
Now we are here inside of the yellow cubby with Adam still having 3 gas grenades at his disposal. My man using his frag grenades to get rid of some of the barbed wire, which is going to allow him a quicker entry. Fox picks off that first kill onto Hot and Cold. Not playing the dock this time, instead opting to go with the Pulse. Chala getting into a bit of an engagement here. He takes quite a bit of damage, but manages to stay alive. Mint looking like he's going to stay inside of the kitchen, as Adam's still here inside of the yellow cubby.
It doesn't seem like eXcellence has thrown out B yet, because if they had, they would know that B is completely empty right now, and they would simply be pushing into this site. They're taking their time with this attack, not wanting to risk anything, and meanwhile, Fox A is tearing apart F3, but Mint answers with a trade back onto Gurmy.
We are going to have one Roamer Hunter left alive, and that looks like it might be Fox underneath. He might be trying to come back upstairs, but he's also taking quite a bit of damage. Pojo Man still here. Looks like Adam will be taken on out by Brian. Gets a trade as Pojo Man drops him, but then it's traded right on back by my man playing the buck, rushing on in from the north stairs. Mint is trying to come in back from the terrace into the drum room, where Gio looks like he's already holding on to the angle as Diffuser gets planted. Now, last minute life is going to be Mint. He tags one. He's got 2 more to go. If he does not get this clutch, it looks like eXcellence will be taking on this series, and they will be doing it. Fox drops it on down. eXcellence wins the series 2-0 in a 5-3 fashion here on Skyscraper.
GG's come out in the chat from both teams, as it was, in fact, very much GG's. And you can see here, eXcellence proving to the world that they are the dominant team coming out of this group stage. And they really did show us some amazing gameplay. I think that FlipSid played up to the standards of FlipSid. I wouldn't say that they whiffed in any noticeably heavy way today. In fact, they showed us some great innovation overall, and I liked seeing FlipSid play. It just seems that eXcellence Gaming are in a fantastic place right now and feeling very comfortable about their gameplay as